the sustainment of all species is one of those very important things. I think that's why you're seeing things like so much farm salmon nowadays, or the salmon hatcheries that you have on the West Coast, and looking at which of the species within the salmon populations can be harvested sustainably. I think the federal government is working very hard on that one.
That's federal government job, right?
All right. So I'm going to leave it at that for questions because it's 3:45 now, and that's the point at which we have to cut off questions. And I'm going to give now, however they want to split up the time. Alderman Pincott and Alderman Mark have the next 5 minutes. I'm sorry, no they don't. I'm going to give Sitag and Richard Poon the first 5 minutes for closing comments, and then 5 minutes to the city for their closing comments, and then we will wrap things up. So Richard?
Okay. We just want to remind all our eldermen their top priority should be the interest of the city of Calgary. They already mentioned many times about this is a federal issue, this is a global issue. This is something I personally appreciate. They have a good heart, but as an elderman, I want them to do their job for the city of Calgary. And like some of the point they keep talking about, we should do something, even it's not even making a dent on the whole issue. Like the feeding cost of a lot of shark, slaughter, and that's why they want to ban. But fall into the same principle to want to help out, protect some of the endangered species, or something they will have a little help on the environment. There should be a bunch of these food items also fall into the same category. Like I said, beef, foie gras. Even we raise the cow for milk, it is also very cruel because you have to kill all the male baby cow because they are not producing any milk. And then the cow for the milk just for the milk. The chicken we raise in the farm, they never see the sun from the day they grow up on the shell to the day they get slaughtered. There are a lot of things falling in the same category. If they propose to ban the feed, to want to save the environment, and to do some good job for the humanity, they should have a list, a complete list instead, showing us there will be a bunch of items we plan to ban, not just pick on one particular food item known to one ethnic group. If they don't have a good explanation, this is hard to convince me this is nothing to do with the discrimination. And the last thing I want to mention about is, based on all the facts we found out, the facts we communicate with them, a lot of the issues will happen, either the enforcement issue, the legal issue after the bylaw is passed. If they are going to ignore all the reality and still want to go for it, I will just consider this is a legislative bully. This is not something we cannot accept. And same thing, the interest of the city of Calgary. Thank you.
And we Alderman Mark, I'll let them divide up the time however they want. They have the next 5 minutes to make closing comments on behalf of the city.
Well, thank you. I do mean that. Thank you. This has been, it's important to me to be here. It's important, as I said at the outset, it's important that I get to hear you, and I regret that I had not done this earlier. I do regret that I have not done this earlier. I am also honored that so many of you came out. Communities make decisions all the time about how it represents its values. The City of Calgary has something called an ethical and environmental procurement policy, so that the City of Calgary will not buy products that are environmentally not sustainable or ethically not sustainable. We make those kinds of choices. We make choices around community values, around things like smoking. I used it earlier. But we've put all kinds of rules in place around smoking, and where it's appropriate to smoke, and where it isn't appropriate to smoke. And smoking is a legal product. Cigarettes are a legal product. We make those kinds of choices as a community all the time. And in this instance, this was something that community members approached City Council about, and City Council said, yes, we can make a choice around our community values. You've given us a lot to think about. You've given us a lot to think about over the next couple of months. We've got, as I said earlier, we've got a lot to look at from the consultations here and the next one to the Ontario ruling before this comes back to City Council to see where we go from here. So I do want to thank you. It is important to hear what you have to say, to see what can be done with this. So thank you very much. I'll let John finish.
Well, let me first begin where Alderman Pincock left off with a simple thank you. Thank you for the kind, respectful, and gracious way that you have hosted us here, and for sharing with us your concerns and your opinions. And that's really what this is about. It's about opinions, and it's about reflection of what Calgary is and what Canada is. So we are a multicultural society, and our culture is part of that. I want to also touch on a quote from Voltaire. Voltaire would say that I disagree with what you say, but I will fight until death for your right to say it. So we may not agree all the time, but your voice is being heard by Alderman Pincock, myself, by Alderman Stevenson and Alderman Keating, who were here, but I don't see them anymore. That lady's terribly bright. But we do want we do want to acknowledge that we have heard what you had to say. And we are concerned about all aspects of the community. And I object rather strenuously to the notion that this was discriminatory in any way, that we are singling out the Chinese people. If you actually think for 1 second that I would single out my own people for ridicule or to hurt our culture in any way, do you actually believe that?
The guys that's without tradition, the guys
I'm sorry?
the guy who represented free society.
I can't quite hear you.
The guy who stood there, and he said this our tradition. We want us to change.
Sorry, there's a chat with me. But why don't you and I talk later? Because I was just...
I don't have time, but as the gentleman over there, he specifically, in his open question, the statement he said, he wants to change our tradition. He keeps saying that. And you said this is not about tradition. That's not right.
Thank you. So, in closing, I do want to say that Alderman Pincock and your entire council are very, very concerned about all things that citizens want us to talk about. You may not want us to talk about it, or you may favor something else over another type of issue, whatever it is. But Calgary City Council has supported the Chinese community and has supported a lot of things that we've done here, Sinmont Park, among others. This is a fundamental part of Calgary, the Chinese community, and I am part of that with you. So I do thank you for all of your kindness and your support.
Okay. And Alderman Marr, Alderman Pincock, representing the City Council of the City of Calgary, thank you for coming today. Just made you wrong. Richard Boone, on behalf of CTAG, thank you very much for your participation today. And to everybody in the audience, thank you for coming out as well, because politics works best when the citizens are fully engaged, when the citizens are involved. And I know sometimes there's nothing that gets citizens involved like politicians who chase off after some cause without remembering to talk to the people they represent, which is what it sounds like happened here. Alderman, with respect, I know, having been an MLA, I know when you get a petition with 11,000 names on it, that is very, very hard to ignore. It shouldn't be ignored. But at the same time, your next duty is to go out and consult with the others who will be involved in that issue. The consultation process has started here. I hope it continues. I hope you've heard what's been said here. And I hope you will keep on their case to make sure that they do take this back to City Hall, to City Council. Thank you all for coming out today. Good night.
Thank you.
Everybody, we have some snacks and refreshments on the side of the hall here. So please stay if you have time, and then we can have some mingling and talk about more Q&As if the others decided to stay a little bit longer.